Hello everyone, it's Ben from Game Hunters R Us, and Healed at WordPress.com, Healed1337 that is, sorry. And the reason I'm doing this for both this YouTube channel and my blog is because this is a new series I'm doing that kind of works for both. It's called Back to Your Roots, and it's a way to look back on the things from your past, or at least things from my past, and to see how they affected my personal taste today. And I think it's appropriate for both, because on Game Hunters R Us, for those from my blog, it's a YouTube channel that I share with a friend of mine where we talk about video games, game collecting, mostly game stuff, and on my blog I talk about comics and some of the other stuff I read, and every now and then I talk about my writing. And both as a consumer of fiction in general and as someone who's trying to break into the novel industry, it's sometimes good to look back and see the things that influenced my personal tastes. And because this is a YouTube channel about video games and a blog about comics, I felt it appropriate that my first episode should be about the first superhero video game I ever played. So, the first superhero video game I ever played was, in fact, The Adventures of Batman and Robin for the Game Gear. This was way, way back in the early 90s when the Game Gear was actually still a thing. Unlike the Nintendo Game Boy, the Game Gear really didn't succeed there for that long. It was only around for a couple of years and then they shelved it. But The Adventures of Batman and Robin was a video game based on the animated TV show, which I never really got into. Probably more on that in a future episode. But the game itself was, in fact, the first superhero video game I ever played. It was actually my brother who had the Game Gear. I had a Game Boy. We both got them for Christmas in the same year. But I remember really liking this game. You play as Batman, and then, if I remember correctly, there are 4 levels. Each level has maybe a couple different parts, and then one particular Batman villain. The first one was the Joker. I was playing this about half an hour ago, and the first level's the Joker. You're trying to stop him from doing something. I didn't play far enough to remember exactly what it is. And then Mr. Freeze in there somewhere. I remember that level being annoying because you have to keep climbing up to fight Mr. Freeze, but there are all these slippery platforms and it's easy to slide down, or at least that's how I remember it. And then I don't remember who the other 2 villains were. It's been a long time, but it kind of started my long road to being interested in superheroes to begin with. It kind of reinforced my like for Batman as a kid. I still like him now, but he was the first superhero I really was interested in. And so I just replayed the game half an hour ago, like I said, and it is nowhere nearly as good as I remember. It has all the signs of a poorly developed licensed game, and it also has a lot of the signs of a cheaply made portable game in relation to the console versions. Like, I have the Batman and Robin game for the Super Nintendo, and it's pretty good. That game's good. This one, there's very limited camera space. Like, you're zoomed way in close to Batman. You hardly have any peripheral vision on either side of him. Like, this is a 2D platformer, of course. There were several times when I would go somewhere and then you see just the tip of a bad guy's gun off the screen. He can shoot and he can hit you, but you can't hit him unless he's fully on screen with the batarangs. So it's a little unfair that way. It especially gets annoying when there are certain walls you have to go up above by jumping on different platforms, and it gets really annoying when you're climbing across this rope to get from one roof to the next, and there's this bad guy that randomly shows up and starts shooting you from off screen, so you don't even have any warning, and then he shoots you, you get hit, and you fall off the rope. A lot of signs of poorly developed gameplay. The music is okay. It's not really annoying or anything, but it's repetitive. It does not live up to my childhood memories, but it felt nostalgic to play it just the same. There's a little bit more to this story, but I'll save that for episode 2 if people like this video enough. Episode 2 will probably be my first superhero movie. And it's a continuation from this story, so Yeah. That's the basic premise behind this series. I mean, I could talk about my first R-rated movie at some point. That'll be a that's actually quite the story. I could talk about like my first Nintendo video game, the first video game I remember ever playing, my first first-person shooter, like all sorts of these different ideas to explore. Going back to my roots and just fiction in general. So if you enjoyed watching this video, please let me know, comment and say if you have any memories of your first superhero video game, please tell me about them. See ya.